Hey Yogi, it's me, Julie here. Earlier this week, I had a chance to interview Heather Keys and talk about all things moving deliciously and delightfully slow. I hope you enjoy this conversation amongst two people who absolutely love restorative yoga and all things slow.
Hi, I'm Heather Keys. I am a yoga teacher here at Be the Love, and I teach a mindful, slower form of a vinyasa or a gentle yoga class, really looking at the transitions and how you're feeling inside your body and how we can move that off the mat.
So tell us, Heather, I love asking this question because, the answers are always so different. But what
Mhm.
brought you to your first yoga class? What made you try yoga?
Oh, awesome. So I was in sports all the time growing up. I moved my body, even a little bit in college. I dabbled with a few sports, crew and rugby. After college, I had already started my massage career, and I was feeling really disconnected and really stuck. I wasn't feeling myself in my body. And in my massage practice, I was always recommending yoga to my clients. So I figured if I'm going to be recommending this, I should try it out myself because they would always ask me, "Oh, do you practice yoga?" And I'm like, no. So I was working in the same building as Back Bay Yoga at the time in Boston. And I figured I might as well go to a class. So I started going to, I was doing 3 classes a week at first. And it completely changed me. It completely changed my life, how I look at my body, how I connect with my breath. And after that first class, I had never felt that connection before, and I was craving more. So I just knew I needed to continue on this journey.
So awesome. That's so good. I love the stories of how teachers came to yoga because you get to see that whole through line, right? Like when you first come to a yoga class,
Hmm.
you might feel that a little bit, but there's so much like that's unknown still.
Yep.
And as you dive into the practice, it's amazing. What you can see in retrospect, like what
Yep.
you
And
can see
all the
moving
layers
back.
come off, and like you can see, like looking, like you said, retrospect, like looking back,
Mhm.
you can see that. You're like, oh, that's where that shifted. That's where that shifted. So
Mhm.
wild.
That's awesome. So what made you become a yoga teacher then?
I knew I wanted to bring this feeling that I had after yoga and when I was practicing yoga to other people. I also thought it would be a really wonderful complement to my massage practice. I love the human body. I'm so interested in it. I kind of geek out over all these little things. So,
Mhm.
um, you know, bringing this other aspect of teaching yoga and bringing this practice to more people, it just really felt like something that I needed to do and needed to add to my life.
That's awesome. Oh, so good. I love that. And it's always in this like service of others that we get so
Hmm.
much out of it as well as teachers. Because I know you like moving slow and getting into restorative yoga. So tell us a little bit more about that. Like what is it that makes you want to do more or bring that to people?
Yes. So in our culture, we move so fast, right? Nobody really notices when they're breathing. Nobody notices where their right foot or left foot is. We're just kind of moving from point A to point B to get this done and get this done on to the next. But when you slow down, there are so many layers to each shape, each transition, each breath you take. And that's what the yoga practice is. It's actually studying yourself and how you react, respond, or don't do either of those in each shape
Mhm.
or transition, right? It's really delving into what's happening in this shape, and
Mhm.
and how you can take that to the next level, or how you can move that off your mat, right? What are you going to do with it once you realize what's
You're leading our
happening?
slow and steady portion of
Hmm.
Move More in May, and I'm so glad that you are.
because you are just like, that is your thing. And I love it. So tell us, so if somebody is interested in doing slow and steady with you, can you tell them a little bit about what they can expect from your gentle classes and from myofascial release and restorative and working with you for the 31 days?
Sure. So in these classes, it really is a self-study, right? So there's a principle in yoga called svadhyaya, and that is the self-study, like peeling the layers off of yourself, right? So when you slow down, that really is able to take place, right? And so in the gentle class, we move in ways that are more intuitive to each person, right? I'll give you options. You can do this, you can do that. But if something else is calling you, go there, right? There's nothing to say that you can't do that. The myofascial release is one of my favorite classes because you really are noticing what happens on the right foot, what's happening on the left foot. If you roll your foot, how is that affecting your hip? How is that affecting the back of your neck? And it's really an area and a class where you're kind of, my friend Jen says that you're kind of like a scientist. You're experimenting with what rolling this part can do to other parts of your body. And restorative, that just absolutely has my heart. Everybody needs rest, whether you think you do or you don't. There's plenty of times that I've fallen asleep in my own personal practice. I'm just coming up to, lay my feet over a bolster, and all of a sudden it's an hour and a half later, and I'm like, well, I guess I needed that. It's really an act of self-care, whether you think you need it or you don't, whether you think you have time for it or you don't. Throw a blanket over yourself, put a pillow underneath your head, and see what happens.
But man, it just goes to show that even as teachers of this practice, even though we have this amazing tool set and we have all these resources, that we still need this practice regularly. Like I need it a couple times a week. It's not even, and it's just like regular maintenance, right? This is just like being a regular human, being able to slow down a bit and being able to be kind, I think
and
is like,
give yourself that permission to do that. And that's the hard part, right? Not being like, oh, I really should like fold this laundry right now. It's like, no, the laundry's okay. I'm going to go upstairs and, roll around with a bolster for a little bit, that's really hard mentally to do. That's really hard. But when you do that, you're like,
Yep.
Right?
Yogi, if you're interested in practicing with Heather Keys, you can do that by clicking any of the classes linked below this video. Check her out on her page here at Be the Love and take a class live with her. Enjoy any of the programs that she offers here at the studio and be well. Enjoy this delightfully interesting and empowering experience of going inward and accepting and loving all that you are. Be well, Yogi.